and Jamshedpur have won the Hero ISL. Hyderabad are the Hero Indian Super League champions.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the season opener special of the Let's Football live show. We're just days away from the opening game between East Bengal FC and Kerala Blasters FC on October the 7th in Kochi. And look, it's going to be the 9th season of the Hero ISL, and we've got 8 years to reflect on. We've come a long way since the league was launched in 2014, and we just thought it would be fitting that in addition to Pulasta, Dhar and Shaiju Damodaran, we bring to you a face and a voice who's kind of been through it all and covered innumerable games. So without any further ado, I welcome Sir John Helm, Pulasta, Dhar and Shaiju Damodaran to the Let's Football live show. And Sir John, so good to see your beaming smile and beaming face. How are you doing back in England?
Namaste, everybody. Lovely to see so many friendly faces and august company as well. I'm doing great and I can't wait for the start of the new season.
Sir, you're one to speak. I think we're in August company. It's the other way around. So very briefly, can you tell us a bit about your association with the league? How did it begin? What was the initial contact like? And what prompted you to come year in, year out to cover games in the Hero ISL?
Well, you may not believe this, but I was in the car on my way home from covering a match in Bulgaria between Lokomotiv Plovdiv and Bolton Wanderers when I got a phone call saying about the start of the Hero Indian Super League. Prior to that, I had been over to cover I-League games, Federation Cup, Santos Trophy. And fortunately for me, the people who organised that, I'd done some training of commentators as well, they remembered that and said, would you like to get involved in the Hero Indian Super League? And why not? Bring it on. And that's obviously back in 2014. So that was the initial call. And I just couldn't wait to get over there. I had my wife and myself had our silver wedding here in India as well. So I've got fond memories, very, very fond memories of the country and of this competition. I've covered every season.
Yes, you have, sir. And someone who's also been associated with the league for long is Mr. Shaiju Damodaran. Shaiju, what's the atmosphere like in Kochi? How's the build-up? Can you see the excitement on the streets and in the public spaces?
Very good evening to, in fact, good afternoon to John. Good evening to Pulasta and Suyash. And like you mentioned, Suyash, I think yesterday I just came out. I just went out my apartment, and it's nearby to the Kochi Stadium, and I saw the logistics works are started in and around the stadium, welcoming the new season of ISL, which is so good. Right. The barricades, the ticket counters, etc., etc. And the box office outside the stadium, and the entire the posters, the banners are slowly started to come in. So yeah, it will be a nice thing that after the gap of 2 years, Kochi Stadium is back on track. Fans are ready to come to the stadium. I think the highlight of Hero ISL Season 9 is this thing only. The main highlight is all the fans are back into the stadium, especially venues like Kochi where 35,000, 40,000 people sit together and watching a match. Oh, it's something to John especially. It is something we are watching a match in Old Trafford or Emirates.
Well, I mean, I'm going to experience the atmosphere in Kochi for the first time, so I can't wait for it. And Pulas, very briefly, you're in the sunny state of Goa. What's the excitement in Goa like? It's a place which played host to the Hero ISL for the last 2 seasons, but now it'll exclusively be home to the Gores of FC Goa.
Yeah, I was passing by Bambolim a day ago, and I was like, oh, okay, that's where we used to go to cover games. And now that's not going to happen. But obviously, very happy that football is returning. It's going to be FC Goa's. Goa's going to be theirs. You can see more orange shirts on the roads, for sure. Yeah. Okay. A couple of Brandon shirts as well, now that he's captain. But I think those numbers are going to increase. And I think it will be felt in a lot of places once the games start. Goa this time looking forward to a big season. So yeah. I'm guessing there's a lot of expectations, some good signings. So it'll be intense, but I am also looking forward to the opener. It's going to be massive. I think the whole Kerala-Kolkata rivalry in terms of both the clubs is really gathering speed. So cannot wait. Cannot wait for the Hero.
And lots of different subplots and rivalries this season, as other teams are also kind of pulling up their socks and upping their game. It's just breeding more rivalries, and that's good to see. So, gentlemen, what we're going to be doing in the show and the format of it is going to be 11 teams to go through. We're going to be picking one question that we kind of feel is going under the radar at the moment, sort of, being a little naughty and playing devil's advocate to see what the opinion is on our panel as well, and what the larger public also feel. And you can let us know in the comment section below from wherever platform and whichever platform you're watching on. So we will first now go to ATK Mohun Bagan. Right now, Shaiju, this one's for you. You can see that the galleries are going to be packed in the Salt Lake Stadium. The Yuva Bharati Kridangan, as it's now known, and ATK Mohun Bagan are going to be playing in front of the home crowd. It's something they did during the Durand Cup as well. They got knocked out of the AFC Cup, and in the Durand Cup as well, they didn't quite live up to their potential, one could say. Shaiju, does ATK Mohun Bagan have the tendency to get a little bit complacent in games, do you feel?
Suyash, I do agree a bit with your point that yes, they have to come out of those complacency factor. Yeah. But according to me, keeping apart the results of the preseason, couple of bad results we know for ATK Mohun Bagan. When it comes to ISL, they are a formidable side always. We cannot write off a team like ATK Mohun Bagan, which is possessing great legacy and a great fan following, and big names like Florentine Pogba, Brendan Hamill, Hugo Bomu, and Johnny Kauko with their in their squad. It is not right. It is not the right time to write them off even before the start of the season, because in ISL you are going to see the real ATK Mohun Bagan.
No, absolutely, Shaiju. I mean, not a matter of writing them off, and I want to get Pulasta into this and get his opinion on it as well. When we speak about the Durand Cup campaign, we saw them electric going forward. They had a few good results as well, but all the goals they conceded, in fact, most of them were down to individual errors. So that's more where I'm coming from, Shaiju, in that sense, not in the sense of writing them off. But do you feel, Pulasta, that ATK Mohun Bagan sometimes just cause their own downfall, as we've seen in the build-up to the Hero ISL?
I think so. I think one of the examples more than the Durand Cup was also in the AFC Cup, where they completely dominated that game and got undone by a few long balls and some individual brilliance. I think more than the being porous at the back, Juan Ferrando also needs to make sure they have a plan B going forward, because all that intricate passing has to lead to somebody finishing it. Now, there's one mystery though, Suyash. We haven't seen them play with the proper striker, the one they've signed. So how does that change things? Is he really up there to be the spear at the tip of the spear in what looks like a fantastic attack? But that ball over the top, that little bit of lack of pace at the back, it might be a cause for concern, but I do think they have too much firepower going forward to kind of falter very badly. They'll be there in the mix.
It may just become a question of, the number of goals they score going forward may just be more than the ones they concede. And that's a slippery slope. But then we'll see how ATK Mohun Bagan fare through the rest of the season. So, John, I'm going to come to you for Bengaluru FC next. But before that, we've received a very special video from a special West Block Blues fan. So take a look at how he's preparing for the season at the Kanti River. Take a look.
The most amazing thing happening this season is we will be back to our fortress. We will be back with our matchday traditions and routines. A lot of work goes before a match, where we plan our chants, we paint our banners and plan a few things. And then the match day is like a college reunion where everyone turns up in their blue jerseys with the face paints, the flags, and then the spirit. The best part about watching a match at a home ground, the fortress, is goosebumps. The vibe that you get when you sing Santoshake in Namma Bengaluru, it cannot be matched with anything. And if you ask me about a message for my team this season, first of all, congratulations on the Durand Cup. And then I'll just ask the team to keep the momentum going, and we are always backing you. As they say, win, lose or tie, I'm a BFCian till I die.
Well, Sir John, BFC is going to be, Simon Grayson is going to be at the helm of things at Bengaluru FC, and it's someone who I'm sure whose career you've seen over the years as well, following English footballs for many seasons now. What can we expect from Simon Grayson and Bengaluru FC, John?
I like that at the helm, by the way. That was very good. I think we can expect him to bring a winning mentality, as he already has done. He'll bring drive and he'll bring organisation. I think the most important thing about Simon Grayson is, in a way, he's going to prove himself again, because he's been a winner. 4 times he's won promotions in England with Blackpool and Huddersfield and Leeds United, so he's used to that. He loves to be organised. His best moment ever was at Old Trafford, where a goal won an FA Cup tie, a famous win for Leeds United. But Simon, it hasn't gone that well for him with his last couple of clubs, so he'll desperately want to get back on track and prove himself all over again, and in another country. He's a very forthright character. He's a lovely guy, comes from a smashing family, I know them well. And he comes, though, but with so much expectation at Bengaluru, heightened, of course, now by that victory in the Duran Cup. But believe you and me, he's there to win. He's coming to India to win a title.
Yeah, but I want Pulasta's opinion on this real quick. Pulasta, do you think that the tournament football that we'll see under Simon Grayson, so to speak, the direct style, will go down well with the West Block Blues faithful? Because it's not a style that they're particularly used to seeing, especially with the kind of managers they've had over the years. Of course, they had Ashley Westford, who was their first manager, but apart from that, they've just adopted a very different style, haven't they?
It's a bit of back to basics, I think, for Bengaluru. But my only worry is that they look better when teams come at them and they can play on the counter. Now, my thing is, what happens when teams start sitting back, especially when they're traveling to the Kantirva. I think Bengaluru will be expected to take the game by its neck and go for it. And we haven't seen that yet. It's fantastic to see them on the counter, Roy Krishna, Shiva Shakti, Sunil Chetri. And I think that swag is back, that belief is back that we can win. Silverware can do that to you. Yeah. And then when Roy Krishna, Sunil Chetri are standing in front of you, and a whole lot of other players, Sandesh Jingan at the back has come back. So there is that little bit of belief when you look at them that, oh, okay, we are playing Bengaluru. But I hope that Simon Grayson also finds a way to make them play, not completely bypass midfield and not completely rely on the second ball. I would like to see them kind of also be, allowed to express themselves, which is what will get fans off their feet. Of course, wins eventually matter. We all know that in the sport.
Yeah, it's interesting, Pulas, because we're going to be seeing more than just Bengaluru FC as being the only team to play that way. You'll have teams like Jamshedpur FC who did play that way last season as well, and maybe East Bengal FC as well with Stephen Constantine. Who knows? We're going to come to them very, very shortly as well. But before we move on any further, we're just going to move a little more down south to their southern neighbors, Chennai FC. And look at this video that we got from a stand of the B Stand Blues. Wait for the end and wait for the bars at the end. Especially take a look at this.
Seeing Chennai NEUFC play in the Marina Arena for 2 years due to this COVID situation is entirely a bliss moment for us, because we as fans are waiting for entertainment, goals and a thriller of a season. Seeing these new players, new coach come in, expecting a new brand of football, and we are up for a thriller of a season. And our pre-match ritual is
So, John, what about that Indian rendition of Seven Nation Army? How do you like that?
Different, very, very different.
Yes.
I'm not sure she got on Got Talent.
But I know, Sir John, Shaiju has a view on this, and we're going to be talking about how Nasser El Khayati has been signed by Chennai FC recently to replace Rafael Crivellero, someone who's given us moments of joy over the past seasons. Shaiju, do you think how Nasser El Khayati adapts to Chennai FC, especially in that creative role, is going to be key to how their season pans out? Because that creative midfield role was something that troubled them even last season, right? So do you think that's key to how Chennai FC are going to do?
Yeah, Suyash, it's very key that Nasser performs. But the thing is, I think he's the last addition to the Chennai FC squad. Last addition, I think two or 3 days before he came to the team camp. So for every player, for any player, it will take time to adapt to the conditions. That is very important. Here he joined with the team on a very few days back only. But like you said, he's trying to fill into the shoes of Rafael Crivellero. That is an important thing. We know how much creative kind of a player Rafael Crivellero was in the past seasons. Of course, he he hasn't performed in the last season due to injury. But this is very important that every Chennai FC fans are keen to watch, keen to see how this fellow Nasser is trying to fill into the shoes of Rafael Cribellaro. But according to me, in the league perspective, in the ISL perspective, it is very important he succeeds. He succeeds in his this task, because it is very important that Chennai FC performs well in this season, because they, like you said, they are a huge team. They are a huge team from down south. So the ISL perspective, they should perform, and Nasser also.
Yeah. You know, everyone, I know Sir John has a very interesting story to share about a game that he covered at the Marina Arena many seasons back. So, Sir John, do you want to tell us about that tempestuous day where we almost didn't have a match that happened, but then eventually it did happen? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll never ever forget this trip to Chennai. You love going there, by the way. In the days, especially Villano and Stephen Mendoza, Mendy. It was a fantastic team to watch in those days. But we arrived. Steve Hodge was my co-commentator in those days. The man who got Maradona's shirt after the England-Argentina World Cup match in Mexico. But it rained cats and dogs, if you don't mind me saying so. It was torrential. The pitch was flooded. No way you could have played a game of football. Oh, yes, they did. Typical of the Hero Indian Super League, like getting through COVID. They were determined the game should go on, and it did. You've never seen such atrocious conditions. Chennai won it by 3-0. I think Mendoza got a couple that day. But then, how are we going to get out? Because the airport was closed, and we were there for 3 days. Steve Hodge wanted to hire a car. I said, where are you going to go? There's no, you can't get out. You can't drive out of Chennai. So we'll drive from Chennai to Mumbai. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea, Steve. Yeah. So we were there for about 3 days, eventually hired the biggest bus you have ever seen. There was rumours there were crocodiles in the streets, by the way, escaped from a local zoo. And we drove in this minibus, or larger bus, with wheels up to here, through the floods, and it eventually got to a disused airport. So we could fly home. I was alongside Nicholas Anelka, who was the player manager of Mumbai City at the time. And it is a trip I will never, ever, ever forget. I've still got the video at home of the drive through the water and people walking through it with poles in their hands.
So, John, maybe we'll take that video of you and try and play it at a later date, and maybe show fans what exactly the conditions were. And I'm sure that this was a very distressing time for the citizens of Chennai as well. It was torrential rainfall, there were floods, and the fact that football kind of happened says a lot. And I'm sure it brought whatever little joy it did to the people of Chennai during that time. So from Chennai, what we're going to do is we're going to be moving on further up north to West Bengal and East Bengal FC. Pulasta. All right, now another big club. Their fans are going to be back in the galleries as their rivals ATK Mohun Bagan fans are going to be doing the same. Do you think that in the narrative that we followed so far, we're kind of underestimating East Bengal FC, that we're not being brave enough to say that, look, they will actually be more of a handful than we think they will be?
They will be actually more of a handful. That is, if you want someone brave enough to say that, I'm going to say that. Because I think there are a few things that are different this season. Point number one is the coach, the staff, and the players. They want to be there. They want to be at the club. They want to play for East Bengal. We've seen the last couple of seasons. It's not easy coming into the ISL, setting up structure-wise, X, Y, Z. But this time, I think they found players who want to be there. It makes a massive difference. I think the second thing is they've got home fans behind them constantly. And the third thing is that they have a coach who kind of knows Indian football.
Right.
Yeah. And also it matters a lot sometimes when all of these things come together. They've got a lot more time this time. We've seen quickly assembled squads from East Bengal 2 weeks before a league and all of that. It's not easy to kind of train that way. This time Constantine has a setup and it seems like, and I think it seems like the owners have taken real pride in investing in the club. And that time is going to allow Constantine to kind of shape a team that initially might falter a little bit, but it will start competing. If they can keep clean sheets, if they can go forward. Once again, it comes down to approach, Suyash. I keep saying that. If Constantine can be slightly brave, we saw what East Bengal did to Mumbai City in the Dhar Cup. Because they said, you know what, we're going to go for it. And if they start doing that, they've got enough pace and enough in them to have a much better season than the last couple of seasons.
Yeah. So, John, what is it that you're looking forward to in the Kolkata derby the most? It's an exciting fixture that's going to see packed stands now for the first time in 2 seasons in the Hero ISL.
Absolutely. Well, I would always guarantee I'm not going to do a Paul Macefield and get my hair bleached, but I'm going to say now that East Bengal will finish much higher up the table than they have done in the 2 previous seasons. Every time I come to India, it's drilled into me, this is the big one. This is the big one. We talk about it all season long. I think that East Bengal have just got that psychological barrier to overcome. They've lost all 4 derby matches since they came into ISL, since the merger. And I think it has been psychologically managed. They've only scored a couple of goals. They've conceded, I think it's 11 over those 4 matches as well. But, you know, being in front of those fans at Salt Lake, I hope you don't mind me calling it Salt Lake still. It's much easier than the official pronunciation.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. The fans are going to make a colossal difference. I know they met in the Durand Cup only recently, and it was only 1-0 then, which shows that the gap has come down a bit. Good signings, Clayton Silva, Suhair, Elandro, even Gonzalez, really good signings for East Bengal. ATK, Mohun Bagan have lost Roy Krishna. So I think there's a balancing out. And as you say, Pulasta as well, the influence of Stephen Constantine, the battle between the coaches, it's going to be even more fascinating than it ever has been over the 100 years.
Yeah. Something else that's also going to be fascinating, Sir John, is now if we go over to FC Goa, a venue and a state that, of course, hosted the Indian Super League for the last 2 seasons. And we've got Carlos Pena at the helm of things over there. Before we get into talking about Carlos Pena, take a look at what we received from FC Goa fan Omi about how his match day experiences and how the Gors experience football at the Futora. Take a look.
Hi guys, this is Omi from the FC Goa fan club. Can't wait to get back in the stands after 2 years of absence. When start our match day routine, our routine starts with wearing the best jersey in the world, which is the FC Goa jersey. When we put on flags on our cars, we go to the stadium and all the fans, all the members of the fan clubs meet outside the stand, and there's a chapel and a temple outside the stadium, so few of the fans offer their prayers and we enter together 2 hours prior to the kickoff at inside the east stand, which is probably the best stand in the stadium, everyone would agree, and that is the best part of the Fortress Fathoda. That is the experience, the atmosphere whenever the Gors attack or they score a goal. The feeling, the noise is just mind-blowing, out of the world. I think no other place can match it for an FC Goa fan. So looking forward to the season. Vamos Goa.
Well, FC Goa and Carlos Pena. And so, John, I'll come to you real quick after we get Shaiju's take on this. Shaiju, what do you think? How do you think Carlos Pena is going to fare? It's his first ever senior managerial assignment in his career. So it's a big one.
Yeah, well, they say, of course, that they're trying to follow on a trend. The previous 2 managers, of course, very similar, quite youthful. But, of course, he has the knowledge of the club. He's got the inside track on the club, having been a player there. We wish him well in his first appointment. He's got to go better this year. It was such a disappointing season last year. It really was, especially with all the matches being played in Goa. So I wish him well. I think they'll do well. I think they'll do much better.
Yeah. Shaiju, there's a reason why we call Sir John the voice of the hero ISL, because it's so omnipresent. Even when you're on the screen, you can see him in the audio backlog at the back. Now, Shaiju, of course, over to you now. Carlos Pena and FC Goa. What's the story there?
Yeah, Suyash, we know him as a player earlier in ISL. So we know his capabilities as a player, Carlos Pena. And now his first managerial stint with FC Goa. It is very interesting to see how he's going to perform in the coach's chair. So it is different from a player and a coach. The duties are different, but it is very interesting because he is the only coach in ISL season 9. He is the only coach in ISL season 9 who played in ISL. So that is a very important and interesting fact when we discuss about Carlos Pena. But when we look at the players list of FC Goa, 100% we can say it is not going to be easy for Carlos Pena to get Goa back on track. It is not going to be easy for him. So he might be well aware of these difficulties, these hazards in front of him, and we will wait and see what kind of plans he's making, what kind of plans he's making with his available squad in the ISL season 9.
Yeah. Shaiju, it seems like Sir John is also taking down notes of what you're saying, maybe getting his commentary notes in order. So we might see a few of your takes in Sir John's commentary stints as well. Who knows about that?
I've always loved listening to Shaiju, by the way. Not a shy man, is he? And I'll never forget going to Kerala and hearing some momentous commentaries. I mean, he's passionate, as everybody in Kerala are. The notes are purely like this. That's my list for the next season. Those are the players to talk about.
Well, I've seen those notes firsthand. I've had the honor of doing that, Sir John, and I haven't come across someone as meticulous as you in how you go about your commentary, and a lot to learn from there. So yes, plus let's go over to you now and the defending champions Hyderabad FC right now. Bart scored goals by the bundle last season for them, and they're going to be back in front of their home crowd as well as every other ISL team. Of course, their first game they'll be playing away at Pune. I beg your pardon, because of some development work that's happening at the Hyderabad stadium. But then, do you feel that Hyderabad have historically, at least last season, were over-reliant on goals from Bart Ogbeche Plus? Do you feel that is something that may be a factor in how they go along with their season? Because in Bart's absence, who then steps in and scores the goals?
I think Severio will make a big step up this season. And you will see a larger share, like a bigger divide in terms of the goals. They'll be divided around the players. I think Yasir has to step up. Haricharan. Borja, the new signing, he looks good. Can play in the middle of the park, can take free kicks, can play down the wings as well. I don't think there's an over-reliance. There's a reliance, yes, not an over-reliance. But if he doesn't score, I think Severio has enough to chip in with. How many does Severio need? 6, 7, 8 goals to make up for with Bart's 10, 12, and you already have a decent number. But I think the system is so set at Hyderabad that whoever players they play, whichever players, they do have a set pattern and they look very creative going forward. I think one defensive midfielder and a right back apart, because they lost Ashish Rai, they look quite decent. The spine is fine. Over-reliance, no. I'll go back to saying it. Reliance, yes. But Severio has to step up and get some goals.
And maybe reliance isn't the worst thing, because after all, he is a striker, and your striker is supposed to get you the goals.
Yes.
So fair point. Fair enough, Pulasta. So John, have you enjoyed watching Ogbeche play in the Hero ISL over the seasons, and particularly last season?
Oh, he's a great guy. He's a great footballer as well, of course, and I've got to know him really well. And what a tribute he has been. What a wonderful contribution he's made to the Hero Indian Super League over so many seasons of 3 different clubs. He's so passionate about the game, and he gives everything, you know. I mean, he's quite muscly as well. People forget that side of him. He gets the odd yellow card because he's giving his all to the team. Yeah. There have been great strikers over the years, but he's right up there. Well, we know he's the top goal scorer. He's overtaken Coro. So I love watching the man play, and I love his company in general.
Yeah. So John, let's talk about another great striker from last season, Greg Stewart for Jamshedpur FC. Although many would argue that he's not a typical striker, he didn't play in that position. But now he's moved on to Mumbai City FC, and Jamshedpur FC are going to be back at the furnace. We're going to be talking about them next. Do you feel that they will adequately be able to replace the goals that Greg Stewart scored for them last season, this season going forward? They've signed J. Manuel Thomas, of course they have, and the Jamshedpur crowd will be hoping that his goals can bring them to their feet. But do you think Greg Stewart can be successfully replaced at Jamshedpur FC?
There's always somebody to step in when a player abdicates, as he has done, as Greg Stewart's left now. So you look to somebody else. But if you think about it, they've got people like Isham Pandita. They've got Jordan Murray. He can score a goal or two. They've signed J. Manuel Thomas, who is very muscular, robust, strong, quick. So I would expect him to figure. Don't forget the skipper, Peter Hartley. You know, he turns it with 3 or 4 goals every season. But the 2 players I really wanted to mention as well, there's Chukwu. Daniel Chukwu arrived at the end of last season and scored 7 times in 8 games. So he's got the capability, having had a disappointing time maybe at East Bengal. So in a way, I'm a bit puzzled by the question. But the 2 that I'm looking forward to really are the 2 wide players, Boris Singh and Ritwik Das. I loved them last year. They were fantastic, I thought, when they got a regular starting place under Owen Coyle towards the end of the season. They're both extremely rapid. As we know, Ritwik came from the Snow Leopards. And he doesn't leave many footprints when he goes. And I'm really looking forward to both of those to kick on. They scored 7 goals between them last season, and it was their first season in Hero ISL. So yes, definitely. Greg Stewart's not there anymore, so you have to look to somebody else. The platform is there.
Yeah, and of course now they've got a new gaffer in charge of Jamshedpur FC as well. Okay, what can you tell us about him, Sir John?
I can tell you a great deal about Mr. Adi Boothroyd. Yes. In fact, he went to school with one of my sons. played in the same football team. His
Oh,
father
lovely.
fitted my carpets. If I switch the camera, you could see a carpet here, which was fitted by Eddie Boothroyd's father. So I can tell you that he's another delightful chap. He's also meticulous. People gave him a long ball reputation, like Graham Taylor and one or two other managers we could name, when he was doing so successfully at Watford. He's not really. He was manoeuvring a plan to suit the team he had at the time. It was strategic. He had the sort of players who played to a particular system. Since then, of course, he's been in charge of one of the England underage teams as well. He's another one. He's very, very disciplined. He's very keen on discipline, organisation, getting the job done. So, that's exactly him. That's the mould.
Yeah, quite uncharitably named Eddie Hoofroyd by the English press at one point of time as well, wasn't he, Sir John? And I think he's proved that wrong over the past few seasons. I know Shaiju wants to come in and have his 2 cents over there as well. Go in, Shaiju.
Point to John is John hope Eddie also will bring a brand new red carpet for JFC in ISL, right?
I'll have a word with Mr. Boothroyd Senior for you, Shaiju. No problem. I'm dread to think what the charge might be, though, with transportation on the flight.
Well, talking about red carpet, gentlemen, there'll be a red carpet welcome for Kerala Blasters FC when they take to the pitch on 7th of October in front of that crowd that you see in front of you. We're going to be talking about the men in yellow next. And Shaiju, this is something that we've spoken about for so long, about how the crowd is going to be of great support to the Blasters. And personally, of course, as a phenomenon, a spectacle, it's great to see that crowd and see so many people in a stadium. But I'm just going to be reading out some facts for you over here now. In front of their home crowd, Kerala Blasters FC has played 51 matches. They've got 18 wins, 20 draws, and 13 losses. So Shaiju, the question I want to ask you is if Kerala Blasters FC historically have been under pressure playing at home because of just the massive expectations, particularly some of the younger players, and do you think it could be a bit of a factor at home this season?
Suyash, before coming to your answer, the visuals we just saw is such an amazing visuals of the packed stadium visuals of the Kochi. So in Kerala, we would say, we say that if you follow the Kerala tourism and Kerala tourism map, you know about Thrissur Puram, where more than 100 elephants stand together in festive mood together. And you know the Adirapalli waterfalls. These are the must-watch things when you comes to Kerala, you visit Kerala. And now to this list, the must-watch thing when you planning to visit to Kerala is one of the home matches for Kerala Blasters playing in the Kochi Stadium. A must-watch thing in Kerala. That kind of an aura, that kind of an atmosphere, that kind of an electrifying thing is there. So, coming to your question, yes, according to me personally, it is a dream for every football player to play in front of the home fans. It is a dream. But same at the same side, the opposite side, it is not everybody's cup of tea to perform in front of the home fans. So one who can manage the pressure, one who can perform, on the one side, one who can enjoy the home fans cheering for him, and the other side, one who can handle the pressure. Only those players will survive in front of this huge crowd, huge fan base. For a professional football player, it is a must thing, and especially for his development. If he is a developing professional football player, it is must that to handle the pressure situations like this, to make the fans happy and to be happy personally. So this is a thing which we can debate, which we can discuss. It's a very interesting subject, whether the fan crowd is making pressure or the players enjoying the mood or this thing. So this is a very interesting subject. But for me, for Kerala Blasters, I only say this is an added advantage only for Kerala Blasters in front when they play in front of their home fans. Suyash, don't forget, last year's final in Goa, in the Fathoda Stadium, we made the stands opened for fans for the last year final. 90% of the fans traveled from Kerala who watched that match, ISL 8 final, was traveling Kerala Blasters fans. Believe me, they have nothing, means pressure mein nahi dala, means nothing pressure, nothing changed. Kerala Blasters led that game up to the 88th minute. So your point, whether it is pressurizing, no, I would say no.
Pulasta, very quickly, would you agree with Shaiju? Because that's a firm no from him, saying that he doesn't think that they'll feel the pressure. But what do you think?
I think they have to respond to expectations. It's a lot of teams around the world found it difficult to go from a no fan scenario to a scenario where they were fans. If there's expectation, you either use it, you spur yourself on, but there will be days when, as Shaiju also mentioned it early on, I know he ended with a no, but he did mention at the start that it's not everyone's cup of tea to probably respond to that expectation. How do they respond to that? Yeah, if you win the first couple of games, tell you what, they might not lose a single game at home then afterwards. But those first two games are tough. And if there's a blip, they will have to see the Kerala Blasters fans, they respond. They're in the game. We've seen that in the past. They can either stop coming or they will come in numbers and they can really put a team, use the 12th man, the tag that we call. But can they respond? I hope so. I think with Vukomanovic and how he's a good manager, I think the challenge will be how do we respond to the sound? Because none of them have heard that in the past. How do we respond to that? And you have to perform. That's the only way to respond.
Yeah. Well. So John, I saw you gesturing. Do you wanna get a word in over there as well?
Yeah, if I'm allowed to draw a comparison, a couple of seasons ago, Leeds United played Derby County in a playoff to get into the Premier League. Leeds won the away leg by 1-0. When the second leg happened, the crowd was absolutely colossal, as it always is. It was a wonderful atmosphere at Ellen Road. There will be today. They're playing Aston Villa. And on that occasion, the crowd got to the Leeds players far more than the Derby players. It was most weird to be there. Everybody said Derby will collapse. They didn't. It lifted them. And as soon as Leeds actually went another goal ahead, but they utterly collapsed once they conceded a goal. And I think that's what happens. I think in the past, when I've been at Kerala, I can't wait to go back there, by the way, people like Cedric Hengbart and Ian Hume and Stephen Pearson loved it. They loved the passion. And I did see them win quite a few home games at that time. There were others who just shrunk away from it because it was too much for them. It can happen to a team playing at home.
Yeah. Shaiju, very quickly, 20 seconds and then we'll move on to Mumbai City FC.
Not even 20 seconds. Now, Suyash, now it's 15 past 6 p.m. here in Kochi, in India. Now it's heavy rain here in Kochi. Heavy raining outside my home. So our match time is 7:30 p.m. Evening heavy rain started in Kochi again. So hopefully everything will go perfect on the match day on 7th of October.
I'll make sure I carry my poncho for that, Shaiju. I'll make sure I do that. Right. Okay, very quickly, gentlemen. Let's move on to Mumbai City FC now next. And we have, of course, another fan video that Mumbai City FC, is one of their special fans sent in. Take a look at what he had to say about how they enjoy their match day experience.
Finally, the long distance is ending. And we are back playing at home. We have missed the club so much. In the meantime, we have won the ISL. We have played at the highest level in Asia. But there's nothing quite like playing at home. We have a very simple match day routine. We meet half an hour before kickoff. We sing, we chant, we sing during the game, and we sing on the way back home. The best part about watching the match in the stadium is you feel like you're part of the game. You can contribute to the game as a fan. You feel like your chants are giving the team energy to go on and drive on and win the game. So that's the best part. The belonging with the club is immense when you're in the stands. I wish Mumbai City all the very best. Let's go Mumbai. Let's win the ISL.
Well, Abhishek Zagade wants Mumbai City FC to win the Hero ISL. And Des Buckingham has spoken about how, they set their team up, and he spoke about Plan B in the past. Plus, have we seen enough of that from Mumbai City FC over the course of maybe the Durand Cup and at the latter end of the last season? Do Mumbai City FC have a Plan B, and have we seen that in action?
I think they need a Plan B. And with whatever interactions with Des Buckingham, he is clever enough to know that if one way is not working, then he has to have another way. But I think more than figuring out what way, because he's a very principled, idealistic coach, he wants to play in a particular style. But more than that, I think it's the decisions of which 4 foreigners to play that is going to define Mumbai City season. It comes down to that decision. A Plan B, not just in terms of tactics, Suyash, but even in terms of the 11. Which 4 do you play? Greg Stewart is probably undroppable. Yeah, you've got Noguera, you've got Jahu, you've got Mustafa Fall, you've got Jorge Pereira Diaz. I'm guessing Pereira Diaz is also undroppable if fit. So who plays then in the middle of the park? And then they've got another clutch of Royston Griffiths is there. So a Plan B in terms of a selection rather than just the approach. And Chante is firing on all cylinders. So there is expectation. If teams sit back and just how far can they keep going and being intricate? Do they have the freedom to go direct once in a while? I'd love to see that.
Yeah, well, Pulasta, we'll leave it at that. Shaiju, before we move on to Northeast United FC now, again, of course, we have Manash from the Highlander Brigade who sent us a very special video. So take a look at how Manash is preparing for the upcoming season of the Hero ISL.
Hello, I'm Manas from the Highlander Brigade. The preparation for the match days of the brigade actually starts a couple of days before, with the brainstorming of chants, painting of tifos, creation of flags and banners. On match days, the brigade always marches together towards the southeast end, where we are loud and proud for the next 90 minutes. This season, we are returning after 2 seasons, and hence the carnival will be bigger. We always make sure from the stands that the players feel our appreciation and love, but the opposition also feels the heat of the Highlands. This time, we have an experienced coach and a few exciting new additions to our squad. The brigade is pretty much excited. One message for the team will be play fearless, play bold. The brigade will always be there to stand with you all together. Thank you.
Well, Shaiju, of course, Northeast United FC do need the support of the Highlander Brigade this season. But apart from that, speaking about the team, very simply put, what can we expect from Northeast United FC this season, Shaiju?
Yeah, we all know the team is a passion of that region. The entire Northeast region is very keenly waiting to see them playing the Northeast United. But it is a true fact that they have not been able to count on this. The past season, we take the results of past seasons. But in ISL, but see, like we said right now, so Pulasta said about it is all about something to get the puzzle right. Like Pulast mentioned about what will be the starting 11 of Mumbai. Like as a Mallu, as a Malayali, as a man living in Kerala, when you ask me about Northeast United, in my mind there will be only one answer. How it will be? How many Malayalis is going to play in the Northeast United starting lineup? Will it be Emil, Mashur, Irshad, Mirshad, Jidin, Gani, all Malayalis? All Malayalis going to play. So the puzzling between this Malayali is also a very important factor for me as a Malayali commentator.
Okay, fair point, Shaiju. But Northeast United FC do have a lot of rich talent from the Northeast as well, and I had the pleasure and the chance of meeting a few of them at the recent Northeast United photo shoot as well. Spoke to Marco Balbol as well, and I'll tell you what, he's really looking forward to the season. He seems like, and he's a very strict disciplinarian, and all the players are actually quite enjoying playing under him from what I heard. So let's see how Northeast United FC get on this. And lastly, talking about pieces of a puzzle, let's solve the puzzle of the defense that Odisha FC now possesses. I'll tell you why I'm calling it a puzzle, right? Because it's very intriguing how during the Durand Cup, they kept a clean sheet in all of their group stage matches, and they seem to be a solid unit. But very recently in the preseason friendly against Chennai and FC, they shipped 5 at the same time. So Pulasta, I'll come to you about how their defense is shaping up, because with the 3 Indians and 1 foreigner, how that's going to be looking like. But before that, let's finally now see a video from Odisha FC fan Soumya Ranjan Babu and how they're preparing for the upcoming season. Take a look.
The best part about having the match days at your home ground is definitely those match rituals when you welcome the players with bike march and those purple flares, and also when you scream to support them at the top of your voices who are representing this club, and also when you meet them after the match. This is what that makes our home games very special, because we are playing at our own end, our very own Kalinga Stadium. Let's go team, I'm a game, let's go Odisha FC.
We should get Soumya Ranjan Babu to be leading the chants at the Kalinga Stadium with that kind of energy, I'll tell you what. But very quickly now, Pulasta, back to you. Going forward, they seem fine. They seem like the flexible and fluid. You saw them at close quarters in the Durand Cup. But do you think that defense is going to be key to what position they finish in the Hero Indian Super League this season?
I think so. I think with Gambao, some attacking flair has come back. Some more belief has come back. They've gone back to certain principles they thought they'd lost on the way. But, with all respect to Odisha, the defense wasn't really tested in the Durand Cup. And when you play week in, week out against Hero ISL teams, which are stacked in attack, and they will try different tactics, there will be a reliance to keep clean sheets, because unless they're free-flowing and scoring, if they're scoring and winning 5-3, 5-2, 4-1, I don't think people will care about clean sheets.
Yeah.
But Narendra has to step up. This is the season he simply has to step up among a clutch of younger Indian centre-backs, because that is how most head coaches are going to go with that combination of the Indian and foreign centre-back. Osama Malik looks solid at number 6. Diego Maurizio looks fitter in the last more than the last couple of years. So I think going forward, Suyash, they're right, but defending against top quality opposition over 20 games is going to be not easy at all. That defense will be tested.
Okay, duly noted, Pulasta. Well, gentlemen, we're through 11 teams of the Euro Indian Super League now. And now for the last segment of the show, I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds each, starting with you, Sir John, and then Shaiju, and then Pulasta, about who you think. All right, you ready for it, Sir John?
I'm always ready. You know me.
Is going to end up with 1, the Golden Boot, 2, the Golden Glove, 3, the Golden Ball, and 4, who's going to be the surprise of the tournament? It could be a team, it could be a trend, it could be an individual, anything, but the surprise of the tournament. So starting from the Golden Boot, Golden Ball, Golden Glove, and on to the surprise. Sir John Helm.
30 seconds, okay. Well, I'm going to go for Alvaro Vasquez, moving on to FC Goa as my top goal scorer, winning the Golden Boot. I still think Gurpreet is the best, but I think perhaps Sukan Singh Gill at Kerala will push him for the Golden Glove. The player of the tournament, I'm going Adrian Luna. Wonderful he was last year for Kerala, and the surprise, a lot of new youngsters to get into Igor Stimac's Indian side. People like Ritwik Das. That's the surprise for me.
Well, lovely, Sir John. As a seasoned broadcaster, within 30 seconds, perfect. Shaiju, sir, over to you next. Your predictions.
Boot will be the same as the ISL Season 8. The player who got the Golden Boot award in ISL Season 8 with 18 goals, Bartholomew Ogbeche, defending champion striker, Bartholomew Ogbeche is going to win the Golden Boot again for the consecutive second season. And the goal before me, Prabsukan Gill, the Kerala Blasters FC custodian. And for the player of the tournament, the Golden Ball definitely will go to Adrian Luna, the midfield maestro of Kerala Blasters FC. Same, the two things I agree with John. But for the surprise package, give me 2 options. One will be Nihal Suthish, wearing the jersey number 28 of Kerala Blasters FC and wearing the jersey number 39 of Bengaluru FC, Shivashakti Narayan. Both of them will be the surprises for this season.
Well, lovely. Sir John, you chuckled over there. What was the reason?
He's not biased, is he, by the way? Can't wait to get to Kerala this week.
He bleeds yellow. He'll tell you that himself. I'm not the one saying that. But duly noted, Shaiju, duly noted. The good part about doing things like these is we can bank these answers, and then we did this last season as well, where we then compared to see how our panel fared. And I'll tell you what, Pulasta got it fairly spot on. Almost all of his predictions kind of came very close to coming right. So Pulasta, no pressure. Lastly, your predictions for this season. Let's go.
Okay, I'm going to go slightly left field this time. Okay. Golden Boot, Clayton Silva. I think he's at a team where he's the main man. He will be doing everything. He's got Suhair and Aniket Jadhav. He'll score a lot of goals. Golden Glove, I still think Bengaluru, when they sit back and defend, they can defend very well. That might translate into lots of clean sheets for Gurpreet. Golden Ball, which is the player of the tournament, will be Greg Stewart again, with Pereira Diaz and Chante scoring like that, and Pereira Diaz will eventually get fit. I think Greg Stewart will be the creative fulcrum again. And surprise of the tournament, I'll have to go one with Shivashakti, but the other one who's kind of under the radar is Noah Sadui for FC Goa. And I think he's going to be a very entertaining winger who will probably, hopefully, get a lot of goals and assists.
Are you a closet FC Goa fan, Pulasta, now that you're staying in Goa?
I tried to develop that, but I think it has become naturally. So maybe in 5 years' time.
Well, lovely. I'll come back to you after 5 years and ask you how that's going. Yes, Sir John.
I think I was the only one who stuck to 30 seconds there. I think they're both over the top.
Yeah,
well, you win as usual, John. You win as usual.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. So John Helm, Shaiju, Damodaran, and Pulasta for joining us on this season opener special of the Let's Football Live Show, guys. I will see you very, very soon. And here's hoping the season is off to a successful start on the 7th of October when East Bengal FC travel to Kochi to play Kerala Blasters FC in front of fans, which we have waited for a long time. So take a look at how the fans are now finally going to be back this season when we close with this AV. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time, and take care. And to everyone watching, we will see you very, very soon on future episodes of the Let's Football Live show. Until then, it's goodbye from us. Take care.
Bye-bye.
2 seasons behind closed doors. We missed you. Last season, records were broken.
And Suyash reaches the 50 mark.
This is the fastest goal of the season. It's probably the fastest goal in the history.
Most successful season in the Hero ISL, and goal number 51 in total.
Now imagine more of the same. More goals, more saves, more tackles,
Time challenge in the end.
Very
more
unhappy
action,
with one another.
new faces, with your roar in the stadium. Get ready for Hero ISL 2022-23. Welcome back.